I'm Stacee Hawkins, producer at HCC TV. I love to learn, so I want to share my favorite free online resources for learners of all ages. This is Brainy Break. April 23rd is William Shakespeare's birthday. Even though the bard is more than 450 years old, he's very relevant to the moment in which we find ourselves. Michael Whitmore of the Folger Shakespeare Library tells us how the playwright can help us weather the storm.
Shakespeare really loved to write about people who are forced into new situations and have to learn how to improvise. And the challenge when all the world's been kind of thrown up at you, and the world is not meeting you with the way that you expect things to go, then you have to kind of figure out how to reconnect. And I think that's the other thing that Shakespeare was really good at talking about, is how people search for connection and find it in a world that doesn't look like the one they're used to. And one of the ways that they do that is by using words. And that's an advantage for someone who is such a great poet and so good at using words to express how people feel. When we're in these moments like the ones we're in now, sometimes it's a good idea to go back to those stories and recite the words ourselves or hear someone say them. We wanted to make as many resources as we have available. And so we started with the words themselves. And we have some beautiful performances. We have a great video performance that was directed by Aaron Posner and Teller from the magic duo Penn and Teller, which is a retelling of Macbeth. It was staged in our Renaissance Theater. It is a wonderful introduction to Shakespeare and to one of his darkest but most interesting stories. And then we also made available these audio recordings that we did of the most popular plays, like Macbeth and Hamlet, Midsummer Night's Dream. And the words that they're saying are exactly the same as the ones that are in the printed editions of the plays that were edited at the Folger. And the text of those plays is free online.
If you have young people at home reading Shakespeare for school, you may wonder how you're going to help them navigate all those thees and thous and forsooths. That's a familiar feeling, even for Shakespeare scholars.
So my first big piece of advice is give yourself a break, because even people who have been reading these plays for decades, and I know a lot of them, they are still cautious, or they wonder whether they really know what this means. So that's not the most important thing. The most important thing is to start somewhere and start asking the question, why? So if you're starting out in Hamlet, which is a big, long, magnificent play, and you're asking, why are those guys out there guarding the castle at night? Why are they so worried? And you start with a why question, and then you start to look at the words. You should read the summary, that's helpful. You should listen to a performance or watch it, and then keep asking those why questions. And then where will you find the answers? The answers you'll find if you start speaking the words aloud. And so by speaking it, you're slowly going to find, oh, why did he say that word last? That must be important. So give yourself a break, say the words out loud. And third, it's a nice time to show your kids or the people around you that you might not know everything and they don't either.
Many organizations are making appeals during the COVID crisis. If you want to help the Folger, it's really very simple. Don't be a stranger.
It begins with keeping safe and doing the things that will make it more likely that you don't spread the germs associated with this virus. But once you've thought about that, the next most important thing I think we can do is connect with each other. And if you love a particular writer or composer or cultural institution, it's important for you to connect with them and be part of that community.
For Brainy Break, I'm Stacee Hawkins.